I'm sorry. The meeting is called to order at 6 o'clock. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you and welcome to Van Buren Township's Board of Trustees meeting. We are being broadcast live over Van Buren Channel 12 and on YouTube. Deputy Clerk, could you call the roll?
Trustee Frazier?
Yes.
Trustee Kelly?
Here.
Trustee Boyan?
Here.
Trustee Martin?
Here.
Clerk Wright is excused. Treasurer Budd?
Here.
And Supervisor McNamara?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We'll begin with an executive summary, which is basically the things we're going to be talking about today, which there it is. Today we have a consent agenda, which consists of the board meeting minutes and our prepaid lists, our voucher lists. It also includes an approval of a grant agreement with Mission Economic Development Corporation for an update to the township's master plan. I believe that was a $50,000 grant to help us do our master plan. New business includes discussion on the selection of intercity contracting to perform water main installation on Belleville Road, south of I-94 Service Drive, in the amount of $500,000. Also, there'll be discussion on the selection of advanced underground inspection to inspect sanitary sewer, which we do regularly. This is for years 5 through 7 in the amount of $240,000. We will then be doing discussion on a first reading of a new ordinance, which will amend the Township Zoning Board related to height standards for BROD, I assume that's hotels, zoning district. Discussion on a special land use request for a distribution center building at Ashley Capitol Crossroads North, located south of Van Buren Road and west of Haggerty. And lastly, a discussion on a resolution regarding speed limits on gravel roads in Van Buren. Was there an add-on?
And then number 6.
And then there will be walking on a resolution to accept jurisdiction and maintenance responsibility for a section of Ironbell Trail, Section I. Can I get a motion to amend the agenda to include the unfinished business? Treasurer Budd.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as presented.
What's that?
As agenda.
Okay. Thank you. Support, Trustee Martin. I have a motion, I have support. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Next item is adoption of the,
Consent agenda.
adoption of the consent agenda. They wrote it down twice for me on this.
Through the chair,
Trustee Boynton.
we accept the following on the consent agenda. The board meeting minutes of July 21st, the prepaid lists of July 22nd, July 29th, also August 12th, and the voucher lists of August 4th and August 18th, all of 2026, and a grant agreement between Van Buren Township and the Michigan Economic Development Corporation for an update to the township's master plan.
Support. Thank you, Trustee Kelly. I have a motion by Trustee Boynton, supported by Trustee Kelly. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you. Public hearings, we have no public hearings today. Correspondence, announcements, and presentations. Does anybody on the board have any presentations or announcements to make?
Nope.
Okay, I have two. One is we received a email, which is a nice email. Dear Mr. McNamara, I wanted to take a moment to thank you and the township for having the lake sprayed this past June in front of our property. They live off Lake Point Pass. We and our neighbors are delighted at the results of the treatment. The treatment was very effective, and it is wonderful to look out on the lake and see water instead of water lilies and seaweed. We much appreciate the township's action on the residents' behalf. We hope this procedure can be repeated as needed in the upcoming summer seasons. Thank you very much. Thank you, and please thank the board for me. That was nice. We also have a letter to Haggerty Sub, reminding them that as previously announced, the township was awarded $412,000 for a community development block grant to upgrade sidewalk ramps throughout the subdivision, basically making them the ramp, curb ramps, like ADA curb ramps, to meet the ADA standards. Great Lakes Contracting Solutions is expected to begin construction within the next 2 weeks. Work is anticipated to be completed by the end of October. Weather and site conditions are permitting. They will be working Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Saturday 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. Please mark anything that you guys may want to make sure doesn't get wrecked, like sprinkler lines and things like that. Clear the right-of-way of any obstacles at sidewalk areas, but I doubt there's any of that in the corners, but please check. And that's that. Does anybody, again, Les, call? No. All right. Public comment. We're now in the public comment for anybody that wishes to make comment on anything that's on the agenda for tonight. Here now, anybody from the public that wishes to make comment on anything that's on the agenda for tonight? Hearing none, we'll move forward. We have unfinished business. We have a discussion and consideration of approval of a resolution to accept jurisdiction maintenance responsibility for the Ironbell Trail Section 1 project. Can I get a motion? Sorry. Not on my list, which ironically,
It's down
Okay.
December 6th, so you want to start with number 1.
number 1. Okay, we'll go that way. All right, to consider approval of Intercity Contracting LLC to perform the water main installation on Belleville Road. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Yes.
I make the motion to consider approval of Intercity Contracting LLC to perform the water main installation for Belleville Road south of I-94 Service Drive in the amount of $499,941.13 to be paid from the capital outlay system improvement.
Thank you. Trustee Kelly, thank you. Director Lawrence.
Good evening, Board. On August 4th, 2026, bids were opened at the Township Hall for Belleville Road water main installation. This is for the east side of Belleville, south of I-94, which will connect Janine, Venetian, and Sunrise. They will eliminate the dead ends and would help with a redundant loop. So we had 2 responsive bids. Fishbeck reviewed the bids and confirmed that all required bids and bid securities were properly submitted. Intercity LLC was identified as the lowest bidder. Fishbeck also conducted reference checks and indicated positive experiences regarding the contractor's quality of work, responsiveness, and overall performance, including favorable feedback from the city of Lincoln Park, based on several years of water main projects. Based on this evaluation, Fishbeck recommends awarding the bid of the water main contract to Intercity LLC in the amount of $499,341.13.
Does anybody have any questions on this?
No.
Because we're going to be doing a lot of water main loops, and we're going to be spending a lot of money getting projects caught up that, quite frankly, because of COVID and a lot of other issues, have backed them up. Could you explain to people, to the board, why we want to loop these systems and what benefits it provides to the residents?
Providing a loop will increase the chlorine residual within the distribution system. Currently, they're dead ends. That means the chlorine residual dissipates over time. So providing a loop, it increases pressure and better water quality throughout the system.
Okay. We've got a few loops. We don't have very many. A lot of people have a lot of them, but we're going to start cleaning up those loops. Okay. All right, I have a motion by Trustee Martin and supported by Trustee Kelly. Do I hear any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director. Remind me at the end to do number 1 on my sheet. This, number 2, consider approval of advanced underground inspection for sanitary sewer lining. Can I get a motion and read it?
Through the chair.
Trustee Boynton.
that we approve of advanced underground inspection for sanitary sewer CCTV inspection years 5 through 7 in the amount of $240,583.40 to be paid from capital sewer clean/reline.
Can I get a second? Trustee Kelly? Okay, Director Lawrence.
Received 5 responsive bids for this. Advanced Underground Inspections is the lowest bidder. They previously held this contract with the township and are currently working on other projects as needed within the township. Fishbeck and I both agree that AUI has always provided quality work and has been responsive and has been willing to work with the township to resolve any issues. Based on my experience with them since 22, I recommend that we approve this contract in the amount of $240,583.40. This is for year 5 through 7. We're currently completed year 1 through 4.
Any questions? No? Okay. We inspect sewers every year and to make sure that we don't have any bad ones. Okay, I've got a motion by Trustee Boynton, supported by Trustee Kelly. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Next item, number 3, discussion on to consider approval of first reading of an ordinance. Can I get, for the township zoning? Can somebody read that off? Trustee Kelly?
Sorry. Move to consider approval of the first reading of ordinance 08-18-26, which is an ordinance to amend the township zoning ordinance related to height standards in the B-Rod zoning district.
Support.
Treasurer Bud. Director Akers.
Thank you very much. So there's, before you is a zoning ordinance amendment to allow hotels, senior houses, and hospitals to exceed the 40-foot maximum height requirement in the Belleville Road Overlay District. And that height increase will be is proposed to be to 55 feet. This change came as a result of discussions with the hotel owners and their challenges with some of our existing height guidelines for the development of new hotels along the Belleville Road area. This amendment was before the Planning Commission for public hearing on July 22nd, 2026. At that time, there were no public comments, and the Planning Commission recommended approval of the zoning ordinance amendment. This concludes my summary, and I'm available to answer questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions, comments? Okay.
I got a question, one question.
Trustee Martin.
So it's going from 40 to 55 feet?
Yes.
What are you saying? So it's basically just adding one more story to the...
So the existing Belleville Road Overlay District standard had a stipulation where you could go up to 4 stories, but the maximum building height could only be 40 feet. What ended up happening was it's virtually impossible to build a 4-story building that is that can only go up to 40 feet just because of how they construct the buildings and the different levels of the floors and materials. So in order to increase the height to allow for the 4 stories, we had to, basically increase our maximum height requirements to accommodate some of those 4-story uses, which hotels, as an industry standard, they don't build 3-story hotels right now. They're only built up to 4-story hotels. We had initially passed the zoning ordinance amendment maybe 6 or 8 months ago that addressed that and increased the height limit to 50 feet. But it had specific requirements in it for architecture, for terracing on the top floor of the building. After talking with some of our hotel owners as they were working through the development process, this terracing requirement was presented to be a really big operational challenge and created issues with their insurance, created issues with a number of other things. And after consulting with them at the Planning Commission, they came before the Planning Commission a handful of times and showed how in other communities they had developed these taller hotels and showed how some of the challenges they were having with some of our existing standards. The Planning Commission ultimately took it upon them to update and modify the standards of 55 feet so they could develop modern hotels.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? I have a motion by trustee Kelly, supported by treasurer Bud. Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you, Director. Next item is discussion on and consider approval of a special land use application for a distribution building at Ashley Capital. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Trustee Kelly.
Consider approval of a special land use application for a distribution center building at the Ashley Capitol Crossroads North Industrial Park, located south of Van Born Road and west of Haggerty Road.
Trustee Boynton?
Support.
I got you. All right. Director Akers.
Thank you very much. This request before you is for the approval of a special land use application for a 799,668 square foot distribution center building, which is located at the Ashley Capitol Crossroads North site, north of Ecorse, south of Van Born, west of Haggerty. Building 10, which is this building that's proposed, is interior to the site and will be occupied by a medical supply company and be used as their distribution hub for Southeast Michigan. The applicant was before the Planning Commission on August 12th, where they held a public hearing with no comment, and the Planning Commission made the following decision, and I apologize, the motion extract did not make it in the packet, so I didn't set it before you. So I'll just read the motion real quick, is that the Planning Commission moved to recommend that the board approve the special land use request for the applicant, Ashley Capital, to permit the construction of Building 10 at the Crossroads North site. Basically, the building and improvements located at the, I'm not going to read the parcel ID, but based on the analysis and subject to the conditions detailed in McKenna & Associates letter dated August 4th, 2026, with no other additional conditions or special terms. And so that was recommended unanimously by the members of the Planning Commission who were present.
Okay.
At the meeting, the Planning Commission also granted preliminary site plan approval as well for them to move forward. So there are representatives, so I'm available to answer questions that the board may have regarding that. There is also Kyle Morton, who's a representative from Ashley Capital. He is here as well, and I assume is available to answer questions if the board has them. But essentially that concludes my summary, and I'm available to answer questions.
Ashley Capital, how long is it going to take to build the building? I'm just curious.
Good evening. Didn't want to just blurt that out. The hope is that the building is open and operational in the first quarter of 2028. So
2028.
yeah. So let's say roughly 18 months from now.
Okay, all right. I have no other questions. I'm curious. I know who it is and what they're doing, and they're well capitalized. They're not going to go away, and so that's good. All right, I have a motion by trustee Kelly, supported by trustee Boynton. Well, hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you. Thank you very much. Next item is to consider approval of a resolution regarding speed limits. So that's good. Speed limits on gravel roads in Van Buren Township. Director Akers. Oh, no, wait, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Treasurer Bud.
I'll make a motion. We approve Resolution 2016-19, a resolution regarding speed limits on gravel roads in Van Buren Township.
Support.
Trustee Boynton. Director Akers.
Thank you. So over the last several years, the township has received complaints regarding speeding on gravel roads in the township. Although these are Wayne County-owned roads, there is a state law which allows the township some options to petition the county to lower the speed limits on these roads. One of these options is the board adopting a resolution formally requesting the reduction of speed limits. So per discussions with our township attorney in Wayne County, as I understand that we can request the reduction in speed limits on gravel roads to 45 miles an hour without having the Michigan State Police conduct a formal speed study. And this is our goal with this request. We are actively working with Wayne County to highlight and address this issue and participate in making the necessary changes to signage if those changes are implemented. So after adoption of the resolution, we will make sure it gets forwarded to Wayne County Public Services Department. If they agree to implement the change, the county will prepare a traffic control order and the township will partner with the county to implement the signage. The original resolution was prepared by the township attorney. I do want to highlight a couple things. So the township board did approve a resolution for 40 miles per hour earlier in the year. We conducted a meeting with Wayne County, and they clarified that we were only allowed under the statute to request a reduction to 45 miles per hour as opposed to 40, without performing the speed study. So this resolution that's before you is the same as the prior resolution. We had just updated the mile per hour speed limit to reflect the what is acceptable in the state law. So this concludes my summary, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
So we started working on this about 3 years ago. State law, we believe, changed. The word was that we could lower it to 45, but if we ask the county may allow us to lower it to 40. According to the county, it didn't change the law at all. We still can only lower it to 45 unless we go through a speed study with the state police and the county. And then we can only do the speed study within 2 weeks after the road has been graded and chlorided. And that's when they drive the fastest anyway. And so then you have to take the speed limits and average them out. So you literally could end up with a 50, 55, 60 mile an hour speed limit. I don't know, because of the way they do that. So I think it's, plus you have to spend $30,000 on that speed study. We have probably, I don't know, 17 roads. How many roads do we have? Dirt.
There were quite a few.
Yeah, so 17 times 30. So that wasn't doable. And plus you'd have to correspond those 17 roads to graveling and chlorating. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm making recommendation that we move those roads which are currently unposted, which means they're 55 mile an hour speed limit. So I'm making recommendation that we take the 45 and run and get them posted and at least get some kind of speed relief. So that's what I'm asking. Any questions? Nope. Okay.
I have a real quick question through the chair. From the resolution, it has segments specifically put in there, or we're doing this across all dirt roads, correct? Or just these ones in the resolution, or does this cover them all?
That covers the dirt roads that have unposted speed limits. There are other dirt roads that are in the township, which are primarily residential roads.
Okay.
Those will remain at 25 miles an hour, but these cover the ones that would be 55 miles an hour otherwise.
Martinsville.
Perfect.
Morton Taylor. Yeah. Robson. I don't know. Robson's a quarter road. Yeah, I guess it would be 55.
Robson is 45.
So, and you can see when you say Robson 45, still ridiculously fast. So, we got to figure out some way to fix that. All right. Any other questions or comments? Nope. Okay, I've got a motion by Treasurer Budd, supported by Trustee Boynton. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? This motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
I gotta go back to my number 1, which is discussion and to consider approval of resolution to accept jurisdiction and maintenance responsibilities for the Ironbell Trail. Can I get a motion?
Through the chair.
Kelly?
Consider approval of Resolution 2026-20, resolution to accept jurisdiction and maintenance responsibility for the Ironbell Trail Section I project.
Yes.
Support.
Yeah, I got Boynton beat you. All right, ladies first, right? Director Renaud.
Good evening, Board. So we are asking for approval tonight of that resolution to accept jurisdiction and the maintenance responsibility for this section of Ironbell Trail. This is a regularly scheduled activity in terms of permitting with Wayne County. We did it a couple years ago when we permitted for Section B. We have been going back and forth with the county for a couple months on trying to get our permit, and this is essentially the last step to do so, is to pass this resolution, which essentially just tells them that it's our sidewalk, we're gonna maintain our sidewalk. Same things that we do like with our township ordinance, with our special Ironbell Trail ordinance. So it's not really anything out of the ordinary, but if there's any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
When's this one gonna be done?
So we will be doing our pre-con meeting.
Section is it at?
Oh, so section I, so this is picks up right where Riggs Park ends, and it goes all the way up to the railroad tracks where we stopped that other section. So starting construction ASAP this year, but it will most likely go into next year, finishing up with things. But it is also tied to our state grant for Ironbell Trail, so it's why it's a little bit time sensitive.
Because that money goes bye-bye, we don't spend it. All right. It takes a while to get easements. We've got all our easements.
Yes.
Okay, yeah,
Yes. Tammy has been fighting that for a while, and we're
Yeah.
finally taking them down to the county. So
Got it. All right. Any others? Okay, I gotta find it again. I have a motion by trustee Kelly, supported by trustee Boynton. Hearing no further discussion. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director.
thank you.
Moving forward to reports, we have none. We are now at public comment. Anybody from the public that wishes to make comment on anything they'd like to make, step up. Yep.
Good evening. Thanks for allowing me to talk. I'll make this short and sweet since everyone's ready to go home.
Your name?
Today.
Pardon? Oh, I'm sorry. My name's Mike Booza. I'm from Swords Creek, Michigan. I am a advocate for renewable energy. I'm here to talk about your BESS project, the battery energy storage system. I'm, of course, a advocate for that. I want to mention a few things. First of all, to address some of the negatives, people talk about these things catching fire, and they do catch fire now and then. But I have a battery in my basement of similar chemistry. I've got a battery in my car of similar chemistry that you'll be installed here. They talk about these cars catching on fire and they make a big deal out of it, but gasoline-driven cars are 60 times more likely to catch than a battery-driven car, and that's the equating for both mileage and age. So these are relatively safe, and these have a lot more safety mechanisms than I have in my car and in my basement. Some of the other benefits, they've recently increased the renewable ready awards from the state of Michigan from $4,000 per megawatt hour to $5,000. So there's a little bit more money there for that sort of thing. You'll also have more likely to have less problems with your electricity brownouts, blackouts, whatever. Because you have this storage system right nearby that will fill in case there is some emergencies or some problems. It's not a guarantee, but you're more likely to have better services with your thing. And in Michigan is one of the states in the union that has a lot of problems with that issue. And the weather has been becoming increasingly worse lately, so that seems to be going to be an increasing issue into the future. So I strongly encourage you to consider these factors. The one last thing with clean energy is that Harvard University and Yale University has talked about the illnesses caused by burning for fossil fuels to produce electricity. Those drop dramatically when you have a clean energy system. And this is part of the energy system. Everyone's got to kind of take their own part in providing for this. Some people have solars in their area. Some people have batteries. So everyone's going to have to play their own part. So anyhow, thank you for allowing me to talk, and I hope you have a good evening.
Thank you very much.
Hi, my name's Christy Pagel. I'm a lifelong resident of Van Buren Township. I just wanted to bring up something that I've noticed over the past few years with Quirk Park. I know that there's been discussion about additional spending on maybe a new park on the lake, and I believe the house at Harris Park, has that been brought up for discussion?
That would go through the DDA, and yes, they are discussing purchasing it now.
And just to bring up the thought that before additional money is spent on new parks, to maybe give some attention to maintaining especially Quirk Park. Since the pavilion was the large pavilion was torn down, it's greatly reduced the number of people that utilize the park. As somebody who's around the park all the time, I've noticed over the last few years, fewer and fewer, even kids at the water park. And I think part of that probably is due to that large pavilion no longer offering shelter for people. As my husband and I were walking around, we stopped. The small pavilion was rented. It was an 82-degree day, 85-degree day. There was nobody at the water park with the kids. And it was myself and him and an elderly man like huddled by the water fountain to get some relief from the sun. So I don't know, has there been any discussion about maybe looking at better
You
maintaining
know what?
that to get
I'm not
people?
supposed to do this,
Oh, yes.
but can I?
Go ahead.
Oh, yeah.
Let her know.
Yeah.
Let her know.
Behind you is Director Renault. And everything you
Yeah.
said is true, except for the fact that the park's not being used. The
Well-
park's being used more than ever, but why don't you let Director stand up and tell her what we're going through a master plan, and she can explain it better.
Okay.
You're gonna like it, and I think that you should attend the meetings, because I think that you should be part of deciding what happens in that thing. We've been offering it to the public, and not enough people have been showing up.
I
And
will-
I'd love it if you'd be in those meetings.
Too. We lived over in the condos, and I remember 5-6 years ago, there was a ball field there that was torn down for the community center,
Mhm.
but there were soccer fields. I mean, it was just full of people.
Mhm.
We walk by there now, and I might count 5 people in the evenings at the entire
It's not our
park.
fault for the soccer. They gave
No,
up
I
on their own.
know, but I understand. But when I'm talking to this elderly man
Yeah.
and he's huddled in like the little piece of shade because
Mm-hmm.
the small pavilion's being used, it's such a beautiful park.
Agreed.
And
It's
it's
beau-
such a
gonna be-
great
We've
place.
done I think it looks nicer than it did 5 years ago, but I think you're gonna like it even more with what
Yeah,
we're doing.
okay.
Let her stand up and talk about it, but don't go away, because we'd like to get your information, so have you join
Sure.
us. Go ahead, Director. What's that?
Park meeting tomorrow.
I feel awkward because
Meeting tomorrow.
No,
Gee.
that's okay.
Okay.
So it's on the record. So like Supervisor McNamara said, there are planned improvements, even starting this year. So for those of you that don't know, the Quirk Park Pavilion was deemed like unsafe and uninhabitable. So we had to demo it, which is why it was demoed before we were able to like actually replace it. But we have a large capital set of funds set aside for this year going into next year for what we don't finish for Quirk Park improvements. Until we bid them out, I won't know exactly like what part of the phases that we can get done in that pot of money. And then whatever we don't get done will be future grant projects that we have. But just as an overall scope, we are looking at not only replacing the one pavilion, but we're going to make it 2 different ones. So 2 smaller ones that we see the actual usage for those pavilions are not the size of the old pavilion. They're smaller groups of people. So we're doing 2 smaller but still good-sized pavilions. That way we can increase even the usage, because individuals in the community, when they go to rent the pavilion for Quirk, it's like trying to get Taylor Swift tickets. You know, like it opened, yeah, yeah. So it, like when we open it up, Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays get rented like immediately. And so that way, if we have 2, we'll be able to have some additional rentals there. And then, so aside from the 2 pavilions, we're actually going to utilize the existing concrete slab from the old pavilion, make that sort of a different gathering space for just more informal spaces where people can gather and just hang out and have some picnic and shade, not necessarily like an entire pavilion structure, but some umbrellas and tables and more informal spaces like that. And then it's also slated for some sport courts to activate the space a little bit. Like Supervisor McNamara said, the soccer fields are not really being utilized. We have had many conversations with the soccer folks and other folks about using those, and it's just trending in our area that isn't what is needed. So We're looking at putting some pickleball courts there, and also a basketball court. And then on the east side of the site, looking at doing a small and large dog park area. So what we're really trying to do is, maintain our existing facilities out there, but then really dig into this idea of having a campus feel at Quirk Park. We have the community center on site now, we have Township Hall, to just increase those amenities. And the Township Board has been very generous with our Parks Department in the last 7 years, and, millions and millions of dollars going into French Landing and Quirk Phase 1 with the splash pad and all that. And this is kind of a follow-up and answer to that as well. So I think everyone will be super excited and happy. And it was unfortunate that we had to take that pavilion down before, we could replace it. And I know that's been a big bummer, but I think when people see what we got cooking, they're going to be pretty excited. So
We need to put out about the master plan, and we need more people to get involved.
So tomorrow night, if you don't have plans, we have another one of our public engagement sessions at 6 o'clock at the Van Buren Community Center. Our team will present a little bit of what's been going on with the survey, and then there's some engagement activities. We're asking for feedback. The survey's out. Tell your neighbors, tell your friends, tell everyone. We're looking for feedback that really drives future projects and where our department and township goes with all of our park and rec facilities and strategic goals and initiatives and things like
Where
that.
can they take the survey?
Line with a link that is plastered all over our Parks and Rec Facebook page, and it's available on our website. But yes, tomorrow night is one of our sessions. Is that the last one, Tammy? So that's the last in-person session. So be there, be square. I think that's all. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, that's all very
Okay.
good.
Okay.
I would just ask some attention be paid to the bathrooms as well.
Yeah. So there's some.
Gonna be more people going there.
Yeah, we have some small, less exciting improvements to the bathrooms. They're not as fun to talk about as like pickleball courts and pavilions, but definitely some small improvements, some ventilation, all those super fun bathroom activities. So thank you. We appreciate your comment, though. Thank you for being engaged.
That's very helpful because we have been walking around and just, it just used to be like so many people under that big pavilion. Even in the evenings, the gentleman we were speaking to, him and his friends used to like to go and play dice and cards there, and they haven't been able to utilize it. So I did not know though that there was a plan to rebuild, so.
It's not done yet. You're welcome to get involved with it. Okay. Yeah. All right. The only thing we're pretty sure on is that there's going to be 2 pavilions in another area because it's just too darn popular. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak? Come on up.
Good evening.
Hi.
Thank you for your time. My name is Noah Butita. I'm with the Michigan Land and Liberty Coalition. We're a local conservative-based nonprofit that advocate for landowners' rights and just personal property rights of owners. Our role is to just work with landowners and communities to essentially address concerns and advocate for workable ordinances that support keeping decision-making here in the community. The proposed battery storage project here is just more about than just a battery storage system. It's rooted in economic opportunity and overall grid stability as we move into an age of increased demand for technology and energy usage. The proposed project is supposed to be located near the Dayton substation, just allowing it to supplement and strengthen our grid by being connected to it. And this location just allows the project to just provide the most effective support when the grid needs it most. The battery storage systems do store additional energy that can be used and outputted during peak hours, helping reduce the need of peaker plants, which just drive up all of our bills. The battery storage technology does provide quick dispatchable energy that can be used during those peak hours, just resulting in less strain on the grid and more reliability. And these technologies can also respond instantaneously, just helping balance the overall supply and demand. And knowing that this project is set to generate $36 million for the township, and that's revenue directly towards first responders, schools, and just whatever else the township feels meets those needs most. And that's just why I respectfully urge the board to support this project when you do get the chance to just decide on it over in person. But just wanted to respectfully urge the board to support the project. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you very much for coming. Is there anybody else from the public that wishes to speak? Hearing none, as board comments. Does anybody on the board wish to make comment?
Through the chair.
Trustee Martin?
I'd just like to make a brief comment, and I would like to thank the Wayne County Roads for their work that they've done on Tyler Road, South Haggerty Road, south of, excuse me, south of Huron River Drive, and they also did some road, Hannon Road, which borders Romulus and Van Buren Township. I just like to commend them for doing it fast and quickly, and it looks really nice. I appreciate it.
They deserve to hear that. Thank you. I'm gonna call them and tell them.
Thank you.
They get beat up a lot.
They did a great job.
Yeah, they did. All right, does anybody else want to comment? No? Okay, can I get a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Treasurer Bud?
Second.
Boynton? Hearing no further discussion, all in favor? Aye. We're adjourned.